Goals of VOC is to understand the business of construction. We all kind of have different ways of getting things done, and we are working to bring those processes together and make them more uniform. But in the meanwhile, business construction is to really understand the whys. Why do we do what we do? As a project manager, and this group is primarily just project managers and those close to it via estimating, whatever that may be. Why do we do what we do? The objectives of a project manager, and then how your decisions impact the company. So we talk through all those things. So at the end of this, if you really pay attention, you could run a construction company, and then also become a better leader. And a leader is not title or position. A leader is someone that takes the time to help lift others up around them, whether it's our own team members, our customers, our suppliers, our subcontractors. Being a better leader is going to be our goal for everyone in our organization. And the importance of relationships and values. We want to work for people that appreciate what we do, that respect us, that we respect them. And so as we continue down this path, building strong relationships is going to be the key to success. And our values are perfect ingredients to building strong relationships. We have a zero accident / incident philosophy that we have put into the company. It has not started off great this year. Everything from theft to vehicle damage to injuries. It's been a rough January. We will continue to have that philosophy of zero incident. Every day is a new opportunity to start over and do the right thing. So we as people as the leaders, as the project managers, we are responsible to make sure this philosophy makes its way all the way through the organization and out to our field. 7 elements of business. What are they? What is the first and foremost?
Safety.
Safety. Thank you. All right. What are the other?
Sales.
Go ahead, Heather. Just run with them.
Relationships.
Projects, accounting, innovation, leadership, and culture.
Very good. Yep. So the 7 elements of business: leadership, innovation, and culture. Those things happen whether we focus on them or not. So the amount of effort we put into those 3 things are going to determine also just how much we grow, our loyalty from our team members and our tenure and loyalty from our customers. But the SPA is the economic engine. That's what drives the company. That's why we are here ultimately. We have to go get work, we have to go do the work, and then we account for it. We figure out how we did, and then we go and start the process all over. And this is a never-ending effort of getting work, managing work, and tracking work. Our 4 values: respect, responsive, reliable, and resourceful. We all know them. We bring them up all the time, and I'm very proud of everyone that ever facilitates a meeting that talks us through these. Really great ingredients for our success. I really believe there's strong reasons as to why we continue to grow and see so much opportunity. Start with why, the mission and the purpose. So we always want to start with the why. Why do we do what we do? We know it's building to improve lives. And we get a chance to do this every single day, everywhere we go. This is not just an STG thing. This is our lives as a whole, whether you are how you talk to a waitress or a waiter at a restaurant, all the way through to you're driving on the road and someone is in a hurry and they have to cut you off. It's not personal. All those things that we do day to day can help to improve the lives around us. And that is our goal. Our 24 missions build around 4 major categories: safety, talent, business development, and money. And when we say money, we're talking about understanding, tracking the money, how we use it. Business development is getting new work, and we're going to talk a lot about that today because it's about sales. Talent, helping our team grow using their gifts, passions. That's why we have Gina and Dina working on the backside with Amanda and Amber on the inside. And then safety is, again, back to that zero incident philosophy. We have specific missions tied to each one of these. This is just a general overview. Gina and our strategic team will be working together to come up with action plans for everybody in the organization. Okay, our vision, $100 million. $100 million represents opportunity. We're going to get that through quality by providing solutions and by building relationships. We're going to have over 500 team members. This is our next major vision. There'll be one after this once we get these numbers accomplished. And then opening up 5 locations or new services. We have a strong 3 right now and looking for 2 more. And those will come either organically or through acquisition. All right, the STG objectives. I want to know if we talk about them often. What are the objectives of STG? Does anybody want to share one of them?
Provide niche services.
Provide niche services. Yeah, so we want to provide things that are unique. We want to provide things that maybe not everyone in the world can do on their own. So that is a great objective. What else?
Work direct for the customer.
We want to work, thank you. We want to work direct for the customer. We want to work for the people that get as close to the end user as possible. It's better for relationships. It's better for the finance. It's better for profit. When you get closer to the people that are asking for the work, and then you don't lose all the information and communication. Sometimes there's a breakdown when you add layers. What else?
Great experiences.
Yeah, we want to create great experiences for anybody that interacts with us. We want to leave everyone feeling like I really enjoyed that phone call. I really enjoyed working with them. I really enjoyed dealing with them on that project. So when we create those great experiences, that's going to help us build strong relationships. That's going to help build referrals and testimonials and the repeat business that we so desire. I'm a big Disney fan. Jimmy's a big Disney fan, and it's because it's just a different experience, and that's really what it's about. They don't have the best rides in the world, but they create a different experience. It makes us want to keep going back. We can do that as an organization, and that applies to your offices and and the cleanliness and how we present ourselves anytime someone comes and visit. There's so many different ways to create a great experience. And finally,
Create opportunities.
yeah, creating opportunities. And that's why our vision is so big. We have a $100 million vision. We're only doing 30 million. Seems like a far stretch, but we want to create opportunities. We want to bring great people into the organization and help them continue our purpose. It all starts with sales. So we talk about the business construction. No reason for us to be here if we're not getting sales. And so it's all about finding the good opportunities. And we put good in quotes. Someday we'll call them great opportunities, and then we'll call them excellent opportunities. But right now we're trying to just earn the good opportunities. We're dipping our toe into a lot of new projects, new customers, new regions of the country. And so finding those good opportunities and running with them is our goal. And I sent an email out the other day, and we got a few responses, but I was not expecting responses, but I was blown away by the bid log, the amount of effort that this team and our estimators have put into getting information into that log, and to see over 397, I say over, almost 400 opportunities in 1 month is staggering. And that's just the ones that came in and we have to quote, or we have to offer them a price, or it's a prospect, not even counting the ones that just came in and we got jobs. So that doesn't even count service work or someone that called in and said, we need you out here, just go do it. Those don't even make it to the list. The communications jobs, and when Verizon CPOs, those don't even go on there. These are only ones where we have to actually bid them, or we have to do some research, or we're still waiting. So to get almost 400 opportunities on a bid log, that builds a lot of excitement. I know I'm excited. I know everyone in this room here, we had some good meetings this morning, are very excited. And by the way, in this room, we have Mike, George, Joe, Todd, and Jimmy. We're all sitting down here, but we went through the stuff. A lot of great opportunities. We're very excited about what's coming, and as should everybody in this call. So how do you define sales?
Creating relationships.
Okay, creating relationships.
Convincing someone you have a thing that they need.
Convincing someone you have something they need. Okay.
That they're going to give you money back for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That they're going to give you money for it. In the old days, sales was bartering. So I have milk for my cow, and I need a blanket, and you're a knitter, so I'm going to trade you milk for a blanket. So we have now used another resource called money. It's another way of exchanging things that we need, and we do it through money. So sales is essentially the exchange of services or products for money. And the key is, for an organization like ours, is to provide a service or product that is in demand and or desired. I use the example, not a good time to become the best VCR technician in the world, right? You're not providing a service that is in high demand. And so while there may be a few people that need it, it's not going to be a good business model. So this is where vision and looking out in the future really helps understanding where the world's going and what services or products can we provide that are going to align with the things that people need. Our topics for today, going over marketing. We are blessed to have advantage within our own organization. Not a lot of companies have that, a full staff of people that can do anything we need, from videos to creating traditional marketing to maintaining our websites and social media posting, all those things that we have access to. The opportunity itself, how to deal with estimates, scopes, and pricing, and then going through negotiations. So we give them a number. Now, how do we negotiate to land the project? And then finally building the relationship. And that building relationship starts from the very first time we interact with a customer all the way through till the end of the project. What are the 4 targets for marketing? If you had to, and I use this, you can see it's like, okay, we want to invest most of our money and time into this group of people. Then we work our way down. There's 4 targets. What is the top target?
Work you or customers you already have.
Yeah, our best opportunity is going to come from past or current customers. That's why we put so much effort into that bid log. On that bid log, there's a tab that says customers, past or existing. There'll be a customer list, contact list. Getting information in there is necessary. That document, that Excel sheet, team, is probably one of the single most important pieces of document. I say pieces. It's a file that we have in our organization. That is the beginning of everything else we do is going to start on that sheet somewhere. And if we make the effort to get all the customer contact information in there and kept up to date, we have a way to contact thousands of people with the flip of a switch, whether it be an email that we could send out to thank them or to wish them a happy holidays or to ask them if they need work. By keeping that updated, we have the ability to connect with our customers in a matter of seconds. So making that extra effort to keep that thing up to date is very valuable for our company. I can't say that enough. All we're asking you to do is go into Excel. At some day in the future, it's going to be a true business development software, a CRM. But in the meanwhile, I want to get everybody in the habit of just using Excel. Very simple to use. The next one is our previous quotes or opportunities. So these are people that we bid work to, but maybe we didn't get the job. That's our next best opportunity. And why are these our 2 top opportunities? And we're going to spend more money and time and effort on these 2 than anything else.
Because you already know who to talk to.
Yeah, because you already have a contact and they already know you. Anything after this is what we call cold or brand new relationship. So companies that need what we provide. So there's somebody out there that needs the services we provide. They just don't know who we are and we don't know who they are. So the odds of getting work with them are lower. They're not out of the question, but they are lower. So we don't want to invest a ton of time in that. And then finally, the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is simply having an address, having a phone number, having a website. And so that in case someone ever does need our services, they know how to contact us. What methods do we use to raise awareness? What are some of the things that we are doing currently to raise awareness, which is branding or marketing or advertising?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn is an example.
Email campaigns.
Email campaigns.
Just talking to your existing clients.
Yep, just reaching out and talking to your existing clients. I think Mike kind of said the same thing. Just reach out, talk to people.
STG apparel.
Swag is another good one. So when you're wearing that, you go out to a job site and you have the name out there and the customer sees it, you're kind of burning that name into their mind and their memory. And so it's very useful to continue to wear that swag on job sites. And that's why I've never turned anybody down for swag on our jobs for our field technicians. I really want our field technicians wearing SCG gear every single day, or AUS gear, whatever it be. I'll call it the FOC family or the family of companies. Really want them wearing swag, because having that on, not only does it keep them connecting with their customer, but also builds a little sense of pride and connection to a team when you have that team name on your shirt.
What about like happy employees?
Yeah, that's good. Happy employees, testimonials, happy employees, happy customers, people that are willing to reach out and talk on our behalf, whether they work for us or not. Great example of raising awareness. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we are our best opportunity. We represent our company everywhere we go. And so we have to be aware of that and just recognize that and how we talk to people, how we address people. I've told you the story about the marketing company in Hermitage. The guy invested $1 million into a new building. We have another company that moved into it, Eyes of Faith. It's a Christian eyewear company that I'm a member of, partner with. And I couldn't understand how we got the building. It was a beautiful building. And it turns out the owner of the company went out to Vegas, got drunk, and started harassing a waitress. And one of the other waitresses caught it on video, posted it on the internet. One of his customers saw it, connected to the video. The waitress then realized who he was and then posted it on all of his information. And he literally shut the company down within a month. All of his customers pulled their contracts, the job. He lost all of his companies and they had to move out of the building. Just put $1 million into renovating this thing. But he couldn't control himself out of town. You just never know in today's day and age with cameras and social media, who's watching and where that information is going to end up. Be very careful. Okay, opportunities. Let's talk through them. So creating opportunities. Why would someone offer the SGGFO a chance to build their project? FOC, family of companies. Why would they offer us the chance? So we've done this before. And now I'm asking you to kind of do it off the cuff. And you don't have to do it in a formal way, but you see a decision maker for a large project and an event. What would you go up and say to them, or how would you present to them to allow us at least to get an opportunity to build their project or bid on their job? What's some bullet points or key points you want to make when you're talking to someone about the SGG FOCs?
Confidence.
So you want to speak with confidence. That's a really good word, George. When you give a reason to hesitate. So you say, hey, I see you guys are building this new building or this new tower or whatever it may be. We really would love an opportunity to do it. And they say, well, can you guys pour 200 yards of concrete?
Yes.
As soon as you give them hesitation, you're out. They don't know you from Adam. But so any hesitation, any doubt in their mind when they're talking to you could remove any opportunity you have. So no matter what they say, you got to answer it with confidence and believe what you're saying. And then we go and find a way to do it. That's always been our MO. We find ways to solve problems. We're very resourceful. Can we do that? Absolutely, we can do that. You give us a chance, we'll show you we can do anything you need. That's the kind of confidence you want when anytime you're talking to a customer. You give that, drag out that hesitation. You make them think for a second that you don't want to do it, or that you're too busy to do it, or that you can't do it. You have lost them. So confidence is probably one of the most important things. Good answer, George.
Instead of bragging, seek to find out what their issues are and then bring up our solutions.
Oh yeah, I love that too. And so oftentimes this happens a lot when I get cold calls. The salesperson dives into this whole long spiel about all the things they can do, but they don't even know what I need. So instead of going into this long spiel about all these things we can do, find out from the customer, what is their concern? What's their issue with the project? What are you looking for? What's going to be the deciding factor when you're picking your contractor to do this work? And then once they answer that question, you can then highlight why we solved that problem or we fixed that concern. That is another great answer.
Experience.
Yeah. So, and then experience. So then another good way of showing that is, let's say, they're building, I'm going to use a tower as an example. They're building a 200-foot tower. You want to immediately connect it to something we've done that's very similar. We build a tower for Verizon, or we build a tower for Crown Castle, or whoever it may be, by connecting the thing they need to a peer in their industry that they recognize. Immediately gives them that feeling like, okay, they've done this before. This isn't their first time to trying this. So showing them, connecting the experience we have to the thing they need is a great way to let them know, okay, we got you covered.
Maintenance is a good example too. So we had a call with Dish before we started the maintenance project, and they pretty much just grilled me on our experience with maintenance. And I was able to tell them we have 5 crews and we built we touched 1,500 sites last year for maintenance. And
Story over. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're done.
Your credibility's there.
Your
Yeah.
credibility's there. The grilling, of course, will slow down. Now they know, okay, they know what they're doing. They may still ask some questions, but that pretty much sets the bar. And so that's a great example. So we get this chance a lot. You guys are doing a great job of making contact. We have teams of people focusing on business development. And so I think this is going really well. And I'm proud of everyone's understanding of the company and the use of our marketing team. When we think about what it takes to grow the organization, and I ask the question, what gives us our best quadrant for success? So if you look at this little matrix, you got existing customer and new customers, existing services, new services. Our best opportunity for success is going to come right here. So we know that if we're doing stuff we're really good at for people that know us, good opportunity to make money and continue on with the success. But if we want to grow the organization, in other words, we want to take it to the next level, we can't just stay right here. If we stay right here all the time, there's no possibility of growing because you're only working with the same customers, you're only doing the same things. So you got to break out of this matrix or this quad and break into something else. What is our next best opportunity? We know that a new customer, a new service probably is very risky. So we're working for people we don't know, doing something we've never done, and that can be challenging. We're going to do it. It's going to happen. There's no way avoiding any of these, but it's going to also be your biggest risk and probably your most challenging opportunity to make money. But of 2 and 3, what do you think is the best way to grow the business?
I would say 3, new customer with the existing service. We know how to do what we're doing.
What's that?
We already know how to do what we're doing, so we can move forward confidently.
Okay, so it's something we're very good at. We go find someone new and we offer to them. We can go do the work with confidence. What's the downside of that? Potential downside?
They might not pay you.
We don't know the customer.
Yeah, we don't know the customer. We don't know how they pay. We don't know how they respond to changes. We don't know much about them, or we don't know how that relationship is going to fold out. So that's the downside. So there's the pro is that we know what we're doing. The downside is we don't know the customer. What's the advantage to number two?
You're already established, you get a little leeway to learn.
Yeah, you have the relationship and hopefully they'll give you a little leeway. You let them know, hey, we're doing this for you because we have a great relationship. This is kind of new for us. Give us a chance. Let us show us we can do it. The downside to that is, or potential downside,
It could hurt the existing relationship.
yeah, you hurt the existing relationship. So we're going to be in all four of these quadrants, said it before, and that's just part of our business. We just want to be aware of that when you're going into these, understand the upside and understand the downside and the potential issues that come with it. I would like to look at the bid log for a second. I just want to comment on a few things. So I'm going to open that up. And as I've said before, just really happy with how the team is using it. For the most part, it's been relatively clean. A couple things you can do when you get in here. This is just some tips for everybody as we continue to work through this. I'm going to move it all the way over. I've told you, to go in and when you're pulling a new estimate number, go smallest here, and then do smallest here, and then you can click on control down, and it'll take you down to the bottom. And so then okay, here's my next number. So that's one way. Another way is to use date entered. Typically, if you use date entered, at least one click of the cell and you can go down and jump down pretty quickly to the most current opportunities. So that's another way. Using the group, make sure that you're using only these titles. It looks like someone fixed it, but I saw someone put column with 2 M's in there one time. So just use the same initials that everyone else is using. So this is new. I want to show everybody this archive bid log. What's going on in the archive bid log is anything that is closed, no bid, or job. And so if something's missing, you can come over to the archive bid log and you can find it. Then if that, let's say we have a closed job and they call and said, hey, you're back on, you can literally pull that into this one, drop it back in to the master bid log. Everything aligns, all the columns are the same. So you can quickly move things back and forth. But I do that because I wanted to try to keep this as clean as possible so that this sheet really is about active opportunities, and the things that are kind of archived go over here. By the end of the year and following years, this list is going to be massive, hopefully with a lot of blue jobs, but it's going to be huge because everything we ever look at is going to make its way over here. This one should stay in that 200 to 300 range of things that we're looking at. Okay, so if you type something in and it doesn't look like the other things, this is that Sesame Street, which one of these is doing their own thing. We want to fix that. So we're going to put the normal COM. Not a big fan of all caps. And so if we can avoid that in any case, I'm not sure who did that. I won't say any names. Keep things looking symmetrical. That's the goal. I want this to look clean. I want this thing to look like our company functions. Very clean, very neat. A lot of the same textiles. You'll notice over here, I got in one time and all the columns were adjusted. Don't mess with the columns. If you are going to mess with any of them, use only G&H. And G&H are shrink to fit. So if you open them up, they go back to the normal text size. If you shrink them back down, you can still see what's there, but it just shrinks. And the reason for these two is I know that when we're doing bid reviews, you're trying to get everything on the screen. So if you're going to shrink something down, shrink down G&H, leave everything else the same, please. If you see red on there, then that means we're missing information. So I'll give you some good examples. If it says bidding and the date is past, that can't be. So something's off. Either the date is wrong or you already bid it, you just forgot to mark it as open, whatever that may be. But if you see a red here, I'm asking you to go back in, change the date. Could be you can even change it to be determined. But if it's to be determined, then are we really bidding it? So a couple things that I just want to address, make sure we're paying attention to those things. But any red at all you see, please make that adjustment. Our bid probability, that is our, as I mentioned before, early on, we want to mark that as soon as we put it in here, put that in here. And then as we get more information, we can start filling in job probability. Future work should not have a bid date. It could have a last contact date or last time you talked to them date, but it shouldn't have a bid date because that means it's something that's out in the future and we're not sure what's happening with that. 2 more jobs, looks like they got picked up since the last, I just cleaned this out. That's good to see. And then we got all our opens. And our important thing with open is just following up. So we have 1 year data goal. The last time we made contact with them was back in November. I feel like it's kind of old. We need to get back in there, reach out to those people and talk to them. So the reds, it doesn't necessarily mean that, there's trouble. It just means we got some information to fill in. This is 2 jobs that we need to fill in some information. And Dan, and I don't know, was there 4 total or was there 2 that we just kind of renamed them?
There was 4 total. The Centennial and O'Shaughnessy are the 2 most likely. Security Gate, I'm still waiting on a price from the fabricator.
Okay.
So that's why. And then Victorian Village is where we might as well close that one out. That one's not going to happen. So
So this one's really kind of in a bidding state because we're still waiting.
Right.
And then this one is closed. All right, good. Okay. You can see up here at the top, $24 million of open work. That's with the jobs that actually have numbers in them. That's could be off a little bit because sometimes if we bid to multiple people, that number, as you know, is on there multiple times. And then we got our list of prospects. COM is now using this. Jimmy's using this in their meeting. They've moved over all their prospects. Same thing. Anybody gets a call from someone and it's an opportunity that we don't necessarily aren't bidding yet, go ahead and put it in here. Just getting that line item in there with the customer and the project that we're looking at, and then mark it as a prospect, and then offer some feedback, notes, anything over here to kind of keep us in line with what's going on with it. This is great to have on there as a reminder, and also goes over to building out our customer contact list. So having this information, getting their email in there, the phone number, that information then is going to make its way over to the master customer list, which we're working on cleaning up. You can see on this sheet, we have 2,388 names and contact information right now. Some of them are doubled up, so we still got some work to do on here. But the power of this document, I can't tell you how much this is going to help us in the future. Work is starting to pick up really well. That's great. But in the future, having something like this to keep an eye on is going to make sure that we don't ever fall into a situation where we don't have work coming through. Any thoughts or questions? Everyone's been using it really well. Anything you've noticed or you'd like to see changed or have a question, don't understand?
I would just say, make sure, since it's a shared doc, that everything is unfiltered before you start keying in information or dragging. If it, like Chris said, if something looks different, figure out why it looks different. There's a reason.
Yeah.
If it's not black around the outside, then everybody can see what you're doing.
Yeah.
Close the curtains.
Close the curtains. Yeah. So
What's the difference between like column, the bid probability and then the job probability? Like I've been putting the same number in each one of those every time. Is that?
So the bid probability is what we know before we give them a price. The job probability is the same as the bid probability until we give them the price and we start getting feedback.
Okay, so that one adjusts, the job probability changes, the bid one, that you don't change.
That's right. Yeah, this goes in, it locks in, and what'll happen next year when we get enough data to amass, we're going to go over to our archive bid log and we're going to go look at jobs where we said our bid probability was 1. That means, oh yeah, this is ours. We got this thing. And then we're going to see how many times did that not happen, and how many times did we look at jobs and say our bid probability is 5. Like we have no chance of getting this job, and we actually did get it. We're just curious about those things. And we're going to produce all kinds of stats. Josh is on this. He's going to help us do that. Brandon French helped us last time. So those are just methods we're going to use to create data. And so it's I know it's a guess, it's a subjective guess, but what do you think it's going to be right when you get the call? And for like Ashley and the generator team, you're getting a call. You can get a feel for the individual if they're really interested, or if it's like, I'm not sure. If you don't get a feel either way, 3 is fine. But 2 is like, yeah, this feels good. 1 is like, okay, they're so excited. They can't wait. This is going to be a job. Any other questions? Okay, good. Keep it coming. Stay in this thing, get into it every day, look around, see what's going on, sort by your name, whether you can sort by your name in the initial rep or by estimator. But keep this information up to date. I am literally in this thing every day, messing around, looking at things, sorting by different features. So trying to keep it clean and neat. I really feel this is so important, especially right now as we start laying out our groundwork for the entire year. Okay, one of the other things that we have created, and let me see if I can find it. I just had it open, is a bid document that we use to create our bids. Mike Marone and his team have done a great job of, I say, mastering this, but putting this thing to good use. And so a new feature, there is a new feature on this one, and it is called the complete database. So this, we're going to be working on this. Myself and Brandon are building to create a document that the STG FOCs can use for all change orders. What this will allow us to do is you will have access to 14,514 minus 1, 13 line items that'll give you material. So if you're looking for a specific material and you want to see a box, you can imagine how many boxes are about to pop up, but you can find boxes here. It'll give you a target price, and then it'll give you labor rates. And so you essentially have an entire database of material in here. If it's anything of a magnitude of a large amount, you may want to go out and get an actual quote on it. But if for nothing else, this will at least give you an idea of what's in there, what you're going to spend on it. Mike, is there anything you want to talk about, Joe, and how you're using this document, not only to get the job, but then how are you using it after you get the job?
Yeah, I mean, it's a living document. So every time we do any work, we apply what we learned from that to this. If you go to like the equipment tab, at first, we weren't using a lot of the features, but Joe's incorporating he actually incorporates an environmental fee that we get charged with rentals. He looks up the tax rates, so we're using that. We usually leave the overhead markup alone, but we make adjustments based off of how we feel with subs. Some you can mark down just specific things if you think it's too high. So we really mess with it a lot.
Yeah, and what I would suggest too is, and I think you mentioned you had a meeting, a kickoff meeting. Did you guys show this in the kickoff meeting?
We did not show.
Okay, all right, because that was something else I was going to say. This document, and I'm talking for everybody from large comm projects to electrical to AUS, anybody on the call, this can be used to then track the job. You've created what you think it's going to take. Now go in there and adjust it as you know the actual score. So this goes from a quote to an actual tracker.
Remember the old one that we did that, and we had another column at the bottom. So we had our original estimate, and then we had the other tab where we actually went through and changed it in live action.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something Brandon and I are going to work on when we develop this new template. Is we want you to use this to track the job. So when we say, how's the job doing? You would go right back to the estimate sheet, hold up, and show us, here's how it's doing. We thought we were going to have, in this case, and I'll use this as a minor example, but we thought we were going to have 5 guys out there working 10, 10, and 12. And then you would have another tab that would be your actual. And let's just say this was your actual. And you say, well, we actually only worked 8-hour days and this guy didn't come. So, and we got the job done. This becomes your new way of tracking the job. So you're basically taking the estimate and turning it into the tracker. Forecasting, I'd say, is one of the issues that we or challenges we have as project managers. We spend so much time supporting the field and dealing with the customer. We're not doing a great job of forecasting. In other words, how's this job really going to turn out when it's all said and done, and proving it with documentation. This is how you would prove it. A manpower loading schedule.
Another piece to this that Chris taught us that's works we use every time is sorting everything from largest to smallest. So a trick he gave us right from the beginning is if you take a look at the material, it's usually about 5 or 10 items that are a bulk of your cost. So you can really spot problems really quickly. We sort everything, every one of those tabs gets sorted largest to smallest. So all the top cost is on the top to focus on right off the bat. And that's something you showed us to do. And we use that all the time that way.
Yeah, the Pareto's principle says that 80% of your costs are going to come from 20% of your items. And so if you just focus on even just understanding those 20%. So if you have 100 items and you looked at the top 20 and said, if we just pay attention to those, it's going to give us a real good indication of how we're doing on material. And a good example is, concrete. If you over pour on concrete, there's going to be some other factors that go with it. Conduit's a good example on electrical. If you figure 10,000 feet of conduit and you see that they bought 12, you know you got a lot more problems because inside that conduit, there's got to be wire and there's got to be fittings and there's got to be supports and there's got to be hardware. So you know if those things are off, we're going to have some other challenges. If those things are under, if we're beating those things, we know there's a really good chance the job is going better than we initially thought. So using your once you got that job, lock it in, save it as the job, go in there or save it as the estimate file, go back in, rename it the job, and start using it to track the project.
One of the things that the three of us are going to start doing is a handoff from the estimating. You know, we've been awarded a project. Now it's going to be handed off. Todd, myself, Joe are going to sit down, go through how the job was bid, create a file, a copy of this document, and then do exactly what you said, start inputting. You know, I just gave Todd some paperwork this morning on stone quantities. You know, so he can start inputting those stone quantities and tracking, you know, as the job progresses, we know exactly where we're at.
Good.
So,
Yeah, great to hear.
and what the thing that we're gonna do is just make a copy of it, you know, and then keep the original, obviously, from the estimate, the original bid, and then just, you know, reverse it.
What we're trying to prevent, and that's great to hear. I'm glad you guys are trying. I'd love to see how the first job comes out. Like go all the way through. So at the end of the job, your estimate file should be your actual file.
Right.
You know, it should look exactly like what it really took to do the job. And if you took the time to do that, it's going to be great information for your next estimate. So that you're building experience, you're building value, and you're letting us know, here's how this job is really going to turn out. Everyone gets a chance to review their WIP. Everyone is in this call has a WIP review at some point in time or has been through one. You know what the focus of the WIP is. The focus is if we think the job's going to cost $100,000, the contract's $150,000, but we think it's going to cost us $100,000, we are managing that $100,000 budget. We don't want to get to the end of the job and we're taking this margin the whole time through, this profit on the gap between the contract and the budget. And then all of a sudden realize it's actually going to cost us $120,000. So now we're going to go over our budget. We're going to have to get profit back because we weren't paying attention. We weren't forecasting where this thing was going. We want to know as the job is happening, are we going to hit the 100? Are we going to beat the 100? Or are we going to go over that 100? We want to know as soon as we can. The only way you can do that is if you're tracking it. And this document's a great way of doing that. I can tell you, I work with a lot of large contractors. I've worked with large contractors in the past. They don't do this real well. Nobody does this real well. So if we can figure out how to do it, I think it gives us just an extra edge in our finance and our control systems, because most PMs do not put a lot of effort into forecasting, even for the biggest companies in the world. They don't even understand it. Okay, so great document to use. Brandon and I are working on it. What we want to do is create this for you for your change orders too. We want to be able to let you can actually use this entire document to submit a change order. Wouldn't that be great? Same concept. Load it out. Load out the work. We oftentimes will turn in something like this and we'll give them, hours per each or whatever it may be. But if we can load it out and show them what it looks like up here, we're going to have this many electricians, this long, and all these other factors into it. And we gave them something like this, hand it to them just like this, or as the revised version, how powerful that's going to be. Tough for them to argue. On one of the last BOC classes we did last year, we had everyone quote a change order. And the alarming thing was that the quotes range from 2,000 to 8,000. That's an alarming thing. I was hoping they'd be all right around the same number, but that's a big gap. That means the way people are looking at things aren't always going to be the same. And we could be leaving a lot of money on the table, or on the other side, we could be upsetting the customer with how we're quoting our change orders. So we got to find that middle ground, make sure we're getting everything captured, but not upsetting the customer, not leaving money on the table. Okay, back to the bid log, talked about the estimate sheet. Okay, what elements build up a strong proposal? Now, so I feel like the proposal, one of the things SCG does better than most companies is our proposal. That thing is a work of art. And I think we are really good at spelling out exactly what we're providing. So what elements build a strong proposal? What things you have to have in the bid to make it a good proposal, or in this document that we're handing over to our customer? First thing,
Quality list of scope of work,
yeah, a long list of scope of work, exactly what we're giving them.
inclusions and exclusions and why.
Yep. So inclusions and exclusions, we want to let them know what they're getting, and we want to know what they're not getting. What we don't want to do is and I said this last time, we don't want to trap them. You don't leave something out that they need and just try to hope that you're going to catch them off guard. Like you're not getting light fixtures. Well, we know they need light fixture, or we're not actually going to pour the concrete. We're going to bring it out in job site and someone else is going to pour it. We know there are things we have to do. Don't try to trap them with the inclusions, exclusions. The exclusions is really about gray areas, right? What is that thing that maybe we should know, but it's not clear, or maybe, someone else isn't gonna provide, so we're not gonna provide either. That's how we want to use inclusions and exclusions.
I would say clean, complete, and easy to read.
Yeah, the format of it is very important. And so that's why one of the things I love about ours is the formatting makes it really easy to read. Very neat, very simple. It looks the same every single time. They know what they're going to get. If they've worked with us in the past, there's nothing that's going to surprise them. So make it really clean, neat, and organized. Spelling, grammar, very important also. We want to look professional. This is our first chance to do that. If we are misspelling words and our grammar's poor, they're going to take that and think that's how we do our construction project also. What else? You're missing a couple big ones.
A follow-up schedule, once the proposal's in, a follow-up process.
Follow-up in general is so important because what does a follow-up say, Annette?
That you follow through with what you put out there, you follow through, check on it, you're managing it, all the above.
All right, so let's say you receive 5 quotes for some work you want done at your house, and the one contractor continues to reach out to see how he looked. What does that tell you about that contractor?
He cares.
Wants to do the work. He wants to do the job. He cares. In this day and age, more than anything else, you want somebody that wants to do the job. So following up is just that one last piece, that one last ingredient to help that proposal turn into a successful project. That's why on our bid log, there's actually a column that says last contact made. We want to know that. When did we make last contact with them? Because if we're not making contact often enough, or not getting the feedback that we want, or maybe the feedback was reach back out to me in March, I'll let you know. We want to trigger something that says, make sure we reach back out in March. We got to show them we care, we want the job. What else?
Price.
The price, yes, thank you. I wanted to make sure that we mentioned the price. Got to have the price on there. And when we talk about the price, one of the most important things, and we're learning this on the electric side more now than ever, is that it doesn't help to give them the all-inclusive, everything's bundled up into one big number price. Why is that?
It's going to be way higher than the ones that are all optioned out. Plus, they usually like options.
Yeah, it's going to be, we don't know how other guys are bidding it. It could be 5 other contractors. If your number's at 600,000, but it's got everything included, and another guy's at 420, but he's got a bunch of options listed below, he's only looking at the 420 and the 600. And then he's not even going to talk to you. You could have the best scope in the world. You're not even going to get a conversation with him. He's going to go and talk to the individual 420 and understand all the options and why do I have them? Why are the options? What do I need? And then he's building a relationship with this guy. And in the process, it may have been 620 when it's all said and done. Doesn't matter. They never even looked at us because we were so high, so much different than his low bid. So don't take that chance. Give them options, break it out.
As much as we're trying to explain our scope, they are going to try to understand it and get the apples to apples comparison. So.
Yeah, because think about this. There's interpretation, what the owner thinks they're getting. There's an interpretation from what the engineer thinks they wanted. There's interpretation from what the architect thinks they want. There's interpretation from how we estimate it. There's interpretation from what the suppliers think they want. You got all these people interpreting what they think they want. So we got to leave that conversation open. We got to make sure we understand that. Don't throw it out the window because we threw one big high number in there, all lumped in to one big price.
That's what electric gets a lot of second looks, third looks and things. A lot of the bidding, like the roll-ins, all that. It's here's the scope, pretty cut and dry, win or lose.
It doesn't work in all cases. And that's one of them. We learned that early on.
And the GCs understand that different people are more efficient. So they might, like a big one that Tim was always breaking out for us is excavation. They might have somebody that they're married to, like Mr. Excavator or somebody, and they just know that person's going to do the digging and we're going to throw the conduit in the ground and that's it.
Yeah, and sometimes they figure we're already out there with our equipment anyway. We'll just do the excavation. So keeping that out, removing it is a way to keep that number down, and it's still there if they need it. We also want to understand our customer's goal. Like, what are they trying to get in this project? What's the most important thing? Is it price? Is it quality? Is it speed? Understand what their focus is. That way we can quote it accordingly. We don't want to use the word no to a customer. We always want to try to figure out solutions for them. So saying no does not help us. It's yes, however, and actually what we could do, price, time, and quality, I mentioned that. What's most important? Be clear on what we're providing, the inclusions, exclusions, spelling, grammar, and appearance. Finally, follow up, let them know you care. All very important elements to this proposal. We talked about all of them. Good. The Goldilocks, go ahead.
I was going to say, sometimes a cheap lunch goes a long way with a proposal too.
Sure. Yeah. Building that relationship, taking them to lunch doesn't have to be a cheap place. We're willing to splurge on up to Applebee's, but you can take them out to lunch and get to know them on a personal level. That's always good. Goldilocks and 3 prices. There's, obviously when you're submitting a price, we're guessing at some level, but an educated guess is always better. You put more time into it. When I think one of the most dangerous things you can do when you're putting prices out is put something out there too high. Too low is risky, but at least we gotta have to have that conversation with the customer, and they may even let us know, hey, you're a little low on this job, and still at least the conversation open. But pricing too high, what is that? How can that be translated by the customer?
Don't care, or you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't care, so we're just throwing a number out there, or we don't know what we're doing, and which they're thinking, well, they're so far out in left field, they don't know what they're doing, they don't care, and that could actually get you removed from opportunities to bid in the future. We were talking about this earlier. These companies are building all these towers, are going out to 50 contractors, and the goal is to narrow it down to probably 5 or 10, and 40 people are going to be off the list. So, and those are going to be the ones that either don't bid or put a number out there so high that no one's even going to look at them again.
Yep.
So don't take that chance. I'd rather you
It could
call.
also just be,
Go ahead, Kurt.
I think some people throw numbers out like that because they want to give a number, but they're afraid to say they're too busy or they can't get to it right now, and that can be really insulting. We just need to reach out and have a quality conversation.
Yeah, we've
I
done
can't
that.
do it right now. Do you need me to help you with an extra number, or just don't even, communication?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what's come out of those conversations, why they're so great. Oftentimes, you'll get a good feel for how badly they wanted your number. If it's like, oh, well, how much time do you need? I'll give you more time. That's a good feeling, like, oh, they really want this number. If they're like, yeah, don't worry about it, we don't need your number, then you're about to waste a whole bunch of time anyway. They have plenty of bids. Your number wasn't a big deal to them. That's probably better than throwing out a guess or a high number and risking never talking to them again. So having that communication, finding out how important it is to them. Can we get an extension? If that is the case, that'll give you some really good dialogue and some good feedback on where we sit.
Well, it builds a relationship too. When we reach out to the customer, let them know, like, we don't have the bandwidth to build this project, even not get the bid in on time, but we just don't have the bandwidth to build the project in your timeline.
Yeah.
And then they respect that because they don't want, if you overload your schedule and then you can't meet their timeline because you're too busy, they'll be more upset with you later on than they are with you just saying, we just can't hit your timeline right now.
Yeah.
And we've had to do that a lot of times over the years, is just let them know we can't hit your timeline. It's going to end in March. We're fully booked in March. Then, we just step
Might
up.
get you another invitation later too, because you said I can't do this one, but they know that you're interested. It's just not gonna fit.
Yeah, they keep coming. Anytime we've addressed it like that, they don't stop. They'll even say that on me. I can't tell you how many walks I've been on where they said, if you're too busy, please let me know and don't bid on it.
Yeah.
Like, this job needs done. This is the timeline it needs done. It's okay if you can't do it, but just let us know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just
We
need to know.
even had them offer extra money if we could do it. Like, I know
Yeah.
you guys are busy. It's really important to us for you guys to do it. Just send us your number and we'll make it right. And done pretty well on that as well.
What we never turn down or say no to is matrix style work. If they're just going to award work,
Yeah.
we will figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah.
The bid stuff's a little different.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, again, that wraps us up for the day. Just the importance of sales. I can't tell you how much we appreciate everyone's doing to bring work in. We got a little nervous coming into January. I feel so much better here the second day of February, and I see a great 2024. I really think this is going to be our best year yet. So thanks for joining us. I really appreciate taking time, and we'll continue this on in the weeks to come. Thanks, everyone.